Yo, what's good, y'all? The Soundflick Podcast is back. We are back with episode 54.
Yeah.
Another special episode, another tribute episode to
None other than
a very loved and also very hated man.
There's gonna be a twist at the end of this one.
In very many ways.
And the twist.
He is loved and he is hated. So we are going to dive into pretty much everything. M. Night Shyamalan.
M. Night
Shyamalan.
M. Night
Ding dong.
Shyamalan.
Don't disrespect him like that, Shyamalan.
No. That's what Tarantino calls him.
I'm gonna hold that against you when you disrespect him in a little bit.
Hey,
that's what
you don't know what I'm gonna do.
It's funny. That's what Quentin Tarantino calls him.
Shyamalan.
Well,
ding
I
dong.
mean,
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino can do that.
Oh yeah,
It's
he gets-
Tarantino.
he be
But it's
getting-
just
he be
funny
getting
that-
This
away.
is just sincere.
yeah.
I'm dead.
It's just sincere.
I don't have the accolades.
Yeah. Now M. Night seems like a really cool dude, like to talk about movies with. He went
He's
to
very
school.
divisive.
He went to school for movies, so I
Okay.
figure he would know a lot. About,
You would think so.
No, he
So-
does. He
I'm
does.
not gonna get into it right away.
He does have. He knows a lot of like the way his cinematography is. He knows the history of film. You know, it'd be cool combo. Like if I ever met him, he just seems like a cool dude. You know,
Yeah.
Yes.
He seems like he does things his way.
he does,
And he doesn't compromise in his vision.
which
for
can
what- for
always
what
be
he
either
wants.
a really great thing or it could be a very
yeah,
bad thing.
yes, that is very true.
Depending on the property,
the
depending
thing
on what's
that
being
I've
done.
always liked about M. Night though is he doesn't make movies like other movies that are out. He'll make his own movie. He's always been original, like you said, sometimes good or bad, but
He's
nonetheless,
like an indie director,
yeah.
basically, for
He's
a
a
major.
he's a
you
very
know?
well-known indie
Yeah.
director.
I just think
That's what it
there's
is.
always people asking like, we want something new. Like we don't want a Chucky remake. We don't want a Halloween remake. We want something new. And then
Yeah.
M. Night comes and gives us something new. It's like, we don't want that.
Yeah.
You want something new? Here. You want
don't
something
want
new?
that.
Here's old.
Yeah.
Get it?
I mean, yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah,
It's your
I
boy.
did get it.
We
Can we get some sound?
we will be
It's your
talking.
boy.
We will be
I don't know who
talking
you're doing.
everything M. Night movies, shows.
So basically, the way this episode is going to go is to be a
acting
lot of
roles.
emotions coming from all three of us,
Yeah,
highlighting great moments, highlighting this person. Where don't get me wrong, M. Night Shyamalan is a great director. I'm just being petty,
yeah.
but
no,
it's
and
gonna
I
be
understand it.
a well-rounded episode of all things good
Yeah.
and all things bad.
I mean, before we do get started on any movie history that he has,
Let's talk about him.
Let's talk about him.
Do you guys know what the M in M. Night Shyamalan stands for? I
Martin.
didn't know he
I
had
do
a
not.
first name. I thought
Martin.
M was his.
No, come on, man. M is not going to be his name.
Is it Mario?
But it did. I didn't think that his first name started with M. I thought it was like something else,
Oh,
like
okay.
Eugene or something like
Yeah.
that. And he's just like, oh, well, M. Night
Call
Shyamalan
me
sounds
Nah.
mysterious.
His name is Manoj, which is
Mm.
it's like what Michael is in America to India. It's a very common name in
Okay.
India.
So his name
Manoj.
is Michael.
Yeah, an Indian.
Oh,
Or,
okay, nice.
Manoj.
Manoj. And I don't want to
No,
say
it
Indian.
would
It's
be-
not Indian, is it? Indian?
I mean, yeah, I think so. Sorry, we're not politically correct on this
Ooh,
podcast.
yeah.
Sorry about that.
yeah.
If anybody
bonjour.
takes offense.
Yeah, y'all
But-
y'all can inquire with
Hindi?
Skywalker.
But I mean, it's in
We're getting
India.
word that it might be Hindi,
Yeah,
so-
it could be, but
but
you
don't know if that's the case either.
correct me later. But his name is Manoj. Obviously his middle name is not Knight, but it's like
What?
no, it's not. Come on
Oh.
now, he's Indian. Neliatu,
Like Dos Ferratu, but Neliatu.
Manoj
I like that.
Neliatu Shyamalan. It's funny. He uses
His real
Point.
last name?
No, he uses that you say Nosferatu because he pulls shots from Nosferatu and how he uses
Mm.
stuff like that. That's kind of funny you say
I
that.
like that.
But
Cohesive.
he was born in India,
Okay.
Puducherry, India, and he was raised in Philadelphia, which is like, I don't know if you've ever heard him speak, but he doesn't have an Indian accent.
No.
He
It's like a
legit,
Philly
yeah,
accent?
he legit sounds like he's
He sound
from
like the Fresh Prince.
Philadelphia or from, he said he lived like in the suburbs,
Sound like
just
Meek Mill.
Oh, probably listen to Meek Mill. Probably went to school with him.
He over here talking like
Yeah, I just got the visual of M. Night on quads going down
yo.
the street.
He didn't live in the city. He always lived like outside of Philly, but he would always go to the city. He said he pretty much like in a video he quoted that as a kid, it felt like it was like a Spielberg movie. Like all the kids are in the neighborhood and riding bikes and playing, and that's what he said it seemed like, and which is funny, which is like Spielberg is his main, I guess, inspiration to do movies. And
not a bad inspiration to have.
He pulls a lot of, I guess, elements that Spielberg uses as well in cinematography with like panning and, trying to use as much off-screen work as you can. Because the thing about horror that people like is they're scared of what they can't recognize or see. In horror, they always do minimal. Like back in the day, they use a lot of minimal stuff to scare people. Like in the Blair Witch, you'll never see the witch, but in the Blair Witch Project, you're scared of when you will see the witch. But you
even
do.
like Steven Spielberg with Jaws. I was gonna say, with Jaws, you don't really see Jaws until in full until the end.
Right.
So it's like mystery.
So they're alike in that way. Obviously, you want to be like the person you look up to because. That's all and you see how great Spielberg's catalog is. Like, his catalog is insane. I was just looking at Spielberg. Let me just touch
I can't wait till we do an episode on him. I mean that's going to be like a 2-hour episode. There might have to be a part 1 and a part 2 for that.
Jaws,
for sure.
He's done some Twilight Zone, Close Encounters. Man, there's so much that he's
And then
done.
we have to talk about his
Jurassic
actual
Park.
company and the movies that have come from the company as well. Like, there's just too much.
Yeah, even nowadays he's done a lot. Ready Player One.
Mm-hmm.
He did that Lincoln movie. Tintin is a really cool movie. That movie's free.
Tintin's different.
That one's cool. That one's
like
free
that
on
movie.
YouTube. It has ads, but it's cool. But anyways, he does like to pull a lot from from Spielberg.
He also does a really good job of doing it as his own.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people, he didn't start comparing himself to Spielberg. A lot of people did. So it's kind of cool. I don't know if they knew he liked Spielberg and then that's why they said it, or if they genuinely thought like, damn, this is the next Steven Spielberg, His catalog isn't as lengthy, but there is a lot of iconic movies. And
he came out the gate pretty much swinging with the type of movies that were not getting critical acclaim, but were understood by the creatives, where people were like, wow, that was something that I didn't expect. That was something that I didn't know I wanted.
Yeah.
And he kind of had those accolades going for him when he started. And let's talk a little bit about that with his hot start, his first.
Oh, you want to get into that first
movie?
I got a few other history tidbits. I guess just breeze through them real quick.
We can weave them in.
Yeah, we'll get there. He did get his start writing a script. He didn't do I think he was like hired to be the director, and then they fired him, and then just used somebody else. But he still got paid for the script, like around $700,000. He said he bought a house.
Man,
it's a great first job.
I mean, nowadays, like $700,000, nothing for a script. So.
Yeah, that's crazy. You get,
but this was early
700,000,
'90s, right?
Man, and you buy a house, is good man.
Especially in
Change your life,
especially in the '90s. And then he also, I guess, like going back to his style, it's pretty well known. That's one of the things I have written down. Another one is
how would you describe his style?
It's not predictable. Because nowadays M. Night, there's going to be a twist, and you want to figure out the twist before it happens.
Is it like a race to figure out the twist?
Yeah, but you'll never figure out the twist because only M. Night knows the twist.
I think some of the twist is a little bit predictable.
Somewhat, but it's always a little deeper. He likes to use he has a really big imagination where his art isn't realism. It's all fake. It's all metaphor.
Yeah.
He did grow up as Catholic, so a lot of the, I guess,
has like religious undertones.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff he has religious undertones. He says he's not religious anymore, but he always just goes back to it. Everything, all these beasts and monsters that he's using signify something in religion and stuff. So he definitely has like a fantastical, not like, I guess, fantasy wise, but he does have like I guess I'm not magical, but I guess, I don't know, something along those
supernatural.
lines. Supernatural, pretty much what it is. I mean, he has aliens, but really in Signs, they only show the alien once, and the rest of the movie is really just religious.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, yeah, it's
which is kind of like the intersection of that. I feel like he tries to make movies that will cause a conversation.
Yes.
Right? Of just like,
even if it's bad. I mean,
yeah, even if it's a bad conversation, it's like, you know, there are a few people who think this way, or like, you know, everybody thinks this way, but what if it was actually this? You know, and it's like he's trying to be provocative in this kind of way, and sometimes it falls flat, and other times it's like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can kind of
his movies,
create it from that.
His movies have always been hit or miss. Even with one of his most popular movies, Unbreakable, when it came out, it didn't do great in box office, and he wanted that movie. He never does sequels and stuff, but for that one, the story he wrote, he's like, I need to do 3 movies.
Right.
So he was hoping when Unbreakable came out at, you know, he's gonna get the budget for the next one, and it didn't do great, so he just moved on.
Took him 15 years to get that sequel out,
and it
was a sequel nobody expected.
Yeah, and nobody knew it was connected until the end of the movie. That was the twist, you know, which is really cool. And now that's one of his more popular movies because of the trilogy.
I mean, to get Bruce Willis on your first 2 major movies, like at the time, Bruce Willis was
a good
man.
hot start.
Like,
so, yeah, like you said, like he really got out to a hot start, and then, you know, out of nowhere, I guess, you know, he kind of just hurt himself.
I like that because it's kind of one of those original like actor-director relationships.
Yeah,
that isn't really talked about, but it's done.
It's kind of like what Tarantino does, you know. You want
him and Sam Jackson. It's like Daniel Kaluuya and Jordan Peele. You know what I mean? Just peanut butter jelly.
Yeah,
good
it just
friends.
works. It works.
Yeah, behind the scenes, they're good friends, and then it just translates really well on screen.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the hot start was crazy. It was The Sixth Sense. It was Unbreakable. Then he did Signs.
Yeah, so those 3 movies they actually grossed over 1.3 billion worldwide.
Yeah,
jeez,
nuts,
incredible, insane. Yeah, and at the time, you know, everybody's like, oh yeah, you're the next Steven Spielberg. You're doing amazing, bro. You can't fail.
You're doing great, sweetie.
Yeah.
And then
he said, "Let me try.
You hold my beer."
Yeah.
And then he did The Village, and that was probably like, I mean, I wouldn't say it's bad because a lot of people love The Village.
Yeah,
a lot of people really do love The Village.
I remember the hype around The Village, and that was kind of like The Village was the first time that I think I was introduced to M. Night, really, because like, you know, Signs and Unbreakable and Sixth Sense were out, and I knew the phrase, you know, I see dead people, and that was like a meme before memes were around, you know. But I never really watched those movies because I was just growing up, you know, at that time. I didn't really know. But The Village, I think it came out in like 2003 or something like that. 2004. That was like when me and my friends can go and see a movie, right? And I went to go see it, and you know, I'm watching this thing, and like it's entertaining, like, oh man, this is a crazy movie. And then they give you the twist.
Yeah. The
twist was just like...
People. Do you remember watching The Sixth Sense?
It was like, fam,
that was a different twist because, you know, everybody thought Bruce Willis was alive the whole movie.
Yeah. Do you remember watching that? And okay.
And I thought that was a good twist. Okay. You know, it was like, oh, okay, because it reminds me of The Others, which is, you know, with Nicole Kidman and like that they were actually dead and everything like that. I liked it. I was like, okay, that's cool. It was beyond where my mind automatically went to. So some people may have seen that and already predicted that, but I didn't predict it. So I was like, oh, this is awesome.
For me, it was, I remember The Sixth Sense when I was like 8, like when I was really aware of it. But by that time, I kind of already knew the twists. So it kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah.
But then I like watching it from a perspective as if I was in the 90s watching this movie. So I can really understand why people were like, yo, he's the one. Like, he's next
it was
up.
like, oh man, this is great. You know, like it was mind boggling, you know, but then with The Village,
I remember my mom going crazy over that movie.
And then they show that like this, like you could just walk out into the highway type situation. And it was just kind of like it was a twist that sucked everything out of what you just watched.
What the hell just
happened? You're like, what?
It's like, well, why did I watch any of what I just seen?
What was the purpose of this?
There was zero point. if that was the case.
Not only that, before the movie came out, they were trying to do like a promotional piece, like a mockumentary, which is pretty much just making like an autobiography on himself, trying to be like, oh, he has powers, he can, you know, bring people back to the dead. You know, he tried to make fun of himself, but it was behind the scenes of The Village. So people were confused before even going to see The Village, like, what's this going to be about? What's this mockumentary? So people just really started to hate him off of that because they're like, you just fool yourself, bro. Like, you just, all you wanted, you just want you to be the center of attention. So that's when people started to really dislike M. Night. You know, they were going to see his movies and they weren't even talking about how bad the movie was. They were just talking about how they hated M. Night in reviews. Reviews would be like, oh, M. Night is just so full of himself. I didn't even watch the movie. Blah,
yeah,
blah,
because
blah.
it made it seem like that the director was talking now.
Yeah.
You know, and not the movie was talking. It was like we're looking at commentary of like and you know, movies are commentary of the director, right? But sometimes movies serve a purpose to tell a story that's bigger than the director themselves. And once we got to The Village, it was kind of like an M. Night show, you know, and he got that all across the board. Even if you've never watched other M. Night movies, you felt like, oh, well, here's this director that's just like shitting on whatever it is that he's making, doesn't think that I'm smart enough to understand what's going on and is going to use just some crazy twist to throw us off, even if it doesn't need one. Like people were just like, bro, just make a straightforward movie.
I don't think he knows how.
And I don't think so either.
When, you know, which is good for him. It helps him stand out, you know, good or bad. Bad publicity is still
good publicity.
Good publicity. But after The Village is really when he started taking a nosedive. You know, like I said, he went on he really did a three-peat.
Yeah, he did.
Everybody loved him. And then everybody was, you know, gonna love The Village. And then they didn't. And they kind of do. You know, it's weird. It's mixed reviews. But after that, it just really went down, you know.
Lady in the Water was next after that.
Yeah.
Lady in the Water, I briefly remember.
People say it looks beautiful. Like I said, like, the thing about M. Night movies, even though they have bad stories, you know, bad endings, at the end of the day, they are shot really beautifully, you know, other than, you know, because there's been bad movies where they're just badly shot.
Yeah.
And they have bad directors and they have bad everything. But at least with this one, that always kind of saves it. But at the end of the day, you know, you can't really save After Earth, The Happening, or
The Happening,
the heavily acclaimed, like critically acclaimed The Last Airbender.
Yeah, you know, the Happening with Mark Wahlberg.
That's all right.
I thought it was okay.
It was his better or worst movie.
Yes, it is one of the better worst movies. I was intrigued by the trailer, and I knew that there was going to be a twist. I knew that something was going on, but it felt lazy also. You know, like it was like The Happening.
I remember watching that movie
happening
and not even realizing he was the director. Granted, around that time when it came out, I could really care about directors. Yeah, right before my love for movies really began. But like once I found out he was the director, I was like, yeah.
And then I mean,
and then what do you have? Like The Devil Made Me Do It, or not?
Devil, I like Devil. You know,
Devil.
Like,
I think he was just a writer. It's not a producer. Or something
it was him. He directed.
He directed it.
Yeah.
He's not. That movie is probably his least talked about movie, not because it's bad. I mean,
because it's terrible.
It's neither. I mean, it's okay, but I guess it's just one of his more forgettable ones. But nobody says it's bad. I hardly hear people say it's even good either, but that one's probably like borderline. Like I'd put that one above The Happening.
You know what it is?
Because at least with The Happening, you know, it was a little cheesy.
Yeah.
And with The Devil, it was actually felt like a horror.
Yeah.
You know, so that I thought that was really cool. And it was like one of those what do they call it? The isolated movies or the confined movies or whatever?
Yeah,
where it's just in one spot.
The one space, no other set than a small space.
So like to use all that and, you know, create dialogue and character development, like I thought that was really cool.
I like movies like that.
I've seen that movie so many times with my aunt. I don't know why she loved it so much, but she got it on DVD. So I would go over and she would play it and we'd just watch it. So
yeah,
that one was
I would
cool.
say The Happening is like his first stab like maybe not a first stab, but like a first stab of the new age action movie, of like getting Mark Wahlberg, getting that like, I mean, I hate to call him like an action star, but like it was like that. It was just in that era, you know what I mean? Of like not getting like an actor's actor, but getting more of a personality to be a part of it.
And that's because Mark Wahlberg has that personality of a normal ass person in this situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I've liked a lot of the casting decisions of M. Night.
Because he typically uses like not like actors that aren't really well known.
I mean, at the time, Bruce Willis I think he was popular or getting popular, but I think he had just done Pulp Fiction probably.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce Willis like was getting to the top of his game during the times that he was doing
until the 2000s when he hit his prime. Yeah, so
it was like 90s,
around that
late
time,
90s. Yeah,
I mean that's when he really popped.
But then but like he's still part of that old group. Bruce Willis is part of the old group with the Mel Gibsons and the Danny Glovers and the he's like in all of that.
I'm getting too old for this shit.
That's a different old movie, guys.
It's a different old movie.
That's not the movie
you laugh at that, right? You laugh at that because it's so funny
better.
From Skywalker.
It's better than yours, man. It was better than yours. Sorry.
I hate
Sorry.
it.
I got that reference.
I was gonna
no, y'all have fun together. Y'all enjoy your fun.
I mean, I'm just saying. So you have Mark Wahlberg, and what can go wrong with Mark Wahlberg? A lot.
Yeah. But like I said, it was one of the better bad movies. Then we go to before we get to the Avatar. After Earth. I mean, I know it happened after, but I don't know what that movie was.
I don't know what he was thinking.
I don't even know like.
Well, okay,
what studio that was? Because I don't think that was under him. I think somebody else.
Hot take: Will Smith doesn't have the best movies.
No,
that's just
not.
Hot take. We can talk about
I Am
that.
Legend, Pursuit of Happiness are one of his better movies.
I mean, there's a reason why he doesn't have Oscars like that.
Yeah.
Like it's just. I mean, I love Will Smith. It's great. There's some entertaining movies. The contribution to culture that he's brought. You can't argue. However,
funny guy.
His movies are not that great.
Yeah.
And After Earth was not an exception.
Why doesn't he do comedy movies? Why is he always trying to be serious?
I just don't think he wants to be thought about as like a comedic actor like that.
Though. He's perfect.
But he's not as funny as he used to be either. Like anymore.
Yeah. No, not
like
anymore.
Of
course.
He's dad now, So like but Bad Boys arguably was a comedy, like action movie,
right?
It was along the lines,
yeah. And even Men in Black, like Men in Black was a comedy. Wild Wild West was a comedy,
quirky,
Wild Wild West was just trash, But like,
I still love it. I watched it as a kid.
We'll definitely do. We'll talk more about that. But I just feel like M. Night, and my point in bringing that up is M. Night and Will being put together is horrible.
That was after,
it's such a horrible idea.
And after Avatar, so it was like
because
M. Night was already like
he's already hated.
Pitchforks at his door.
And I just know that Will Smith would allow M. Night to do whatever he wants. He'd be like, let's upset the crowd. Let's upset them. Let's not give them what they want. Like, let's just do it because he was Will Smith.
The thing is with that one, like, usually the movies you're kind of like, okay, this looks cool. But even before After Earth, I was like,
well,
I thought it was like a book, and then a director got a hold of it, and then I was like, oh, it's M. Night, and it was after the Avatar. I was like, I don't know.
You know what you need? An accent
in space or on a different Earth or something.
You know what Jaden needs to do? Hang glide while using his suit.
It was definitely a Jaden like play. He was trying to figure out ways to have his son in a movie.
Yeah,
it was trying to get Jaden out of that little kid phase of him going from the helpless son in Pursuit of Happiness
and
Karate
Kid to him being a serious
action actor.
Well,
and it didn't play out so much. He's not an actor.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore.
Not.
He's not. He's an artist now.
I feel like he could still be in like the Karate Kid.
Well, he could, but he was just too creative. As like his thought process isn't for acting solely. He's like, I wouldn't be surprised if he jumped back into acting, but at the time he's like, I'm trying to explore who I am as an individual.
M. Night was just like, damn, I'm getting the Smiths in my movie. All right, let's go.
I'm getting two Smiths.
Yeah. Especially after the atrocious train wreck
my career.
dumpster fire of Last Airbender.
All right, look, y'all, we're going to spend about 5 to 10 minutes on this topic.
No.
Let's do like 5.
No, I don't.
Less than 5, I guess.
I'm not going to give him that kind of time. The movie was
We're already giving him an hour.
Absolute garbage.
So I remember I was in Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
Random, okay.
I was in Spokane, Washington in 2010 with my dad, right? We went to this very small theater. There was maybe 25 seats in the whole theater.
Mm-hmm.
So it was packed.
Mm-hmm.
I love going to theaters in different states.
Bro,
So fun.
I was so excited.
Mm-hmm.
We got there early. I got a frick ton of food and I was like, yo, let's go in. I'm hyped.
Mm-hmm.
I had my freaking Avatar hoodie when you tossed it over, had the blue strap. Bro, I was hyped.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
And then they called him Ong. They called him Ong, bro.
See,
yo, why?
thing
Wait,
is
but
still-
I have
okay,
a
wait.
question. I have a question.
okay.
Nick knew that's not how you say
Okay.
his name.
Yeah, okay. So
Why didn't they correct him?
I've been following the development of this movie for many years before
Yeah,
it was
came
even
out,
it even came out, before M. Night was even attached to it. They said, we're gonna make a Last Airbender movie. Everybody was like, okay, this is gonna be epic. The story, it's written
It had
out
a crazy
for us.
budget.
It's they gave them all the money. The story's there.
I haven't seen a Nick live
So
action since.
oh no, not at all, not at all. I'm watching this thing. We're getting updates. Me and my brother, we're getting updates. We're going online every day. Oh, they're bringing in the special effects crew who did X-Men.
Yeah.
Okay, for sure. Let's go. We've seen Iceman. We've seen Pyro. We've seen all that.
that's so funny.
It's going to be perfect for the bending. All right. Oh, we're bringing in the martial arts people. Oh, the track team from the original show. Okay, let's go. And then I remember I went to Comic-Con and they had a panel and it had the creators and then it was on a video screen. They were in a movie theater talking about the Last Airbender movie. And then they said, and we're here with the director. And they moved the camera over.
Like they do in all the M. Night movies, just slowly.
And it goes to M. Night Shyamalan. And people were pissed.
Yeah.
People were like,
Because not like he
and
was already
my
doing,
heart sunk.
I'm just so
I just
confused.
knew that it wasn't going to be what it needed to
Yeah.
be. And then right after his announcement, all the things started rolling out. They're changing Aang's name to Ong, Iroh to Iro. Oh, the Fire Nation is no longer going to be based off of Japanese culture. It's based off of Indian culture. Oh, they just started switching things up that I was like, wait. Hold the phone. Why the fuck is this going on when the whole series
is written out for
It's
you.
written out. What are we doing here? What is going on? And it just was bad news after bad news after bad news. But I had hope, right? I see the trailer. The trailer comes out and it has like this mysterious, you have Aang, he's in the temple, he's doing his moves, the candles go out, he does a little air bending, takes off the hood, you see the arrow. It was like, okay, this is kind of epic. Zooms out and you see the ships, the Fire Nation ships. They look beautiful.
Damn,
I'm
that's
just
the
like,
thing, like,
yo,
the
let's
movie was
go.
bad, but it looked so good.
It looked great. I was like,
It looked
let's
so
go.
good.
We might have something here.
We're here.
So then, the night of the movie, opening night, I go with my brother and with my friends,
I
and,
didn't go
and
opening
we're
night.
there.
I don't even think I saw it in theaters.
Opening night, we weren't gonna miss it for the world. Opening night, we show up downtown Disney, ready, cosplayed. Everybody's cosplayed.
Who are you?
I didn't cosplay as nobody, but everybody else was cosplay, right?
He was a disappointed fan.
Yeah, I mean, there's no black people,
M.
so
Night
sorry.
Shyamalan hated it. That's what I came as.
There's nobody to cosplay as in Avatar. I love Avatar, but nobody to be. So we watch and the movie starts, right? And we're going and I'm like, okay, well, this is book 1. I should be able to identify everything that's going on here. This is going to be great. 10 minutes into the film, they were already on episode 3 of book 1 as far as storytelling was concerned.
Right.
And I remember I looked over at my brother. I said, something's wrong. I said,
it's wrong. I've never done that in a movie.
No, it literally came out of my mouth. I could not believe how taken out of the film I was.
I've never been.
I said, something is wrong here. I said, something is wrong here. I don't know what's going on. Like something is wrong. Why is Katara narrating everything that we're supposed to be seeing? Like, why is this happening? And we sat down and we're just heartbroken. We got our hearts ripped out of us. And we watched this whole movie, which was atrocious, that I never recommend for anybody to ever see in their entire life.
I went to go look it up online, and I don't even think there was anything about it. Like, it's like they're almost trying to make it disappear.
No, they have to. They have to get rid of it. They have to get rid of it. It's an infamy.
Yeah.
It cannot exist. It should be like when they talk about the Mandela effect, that should go.
Yeah.
We shouldn't even remember that it happened before.
To me, there is blame for M. Night because obviously, Indian culture, obviously he changed that.
Bastard.
He changed a lot. But
he's from Philly.
The fact that Nickelodeon...
I don't know. I don't know how they allowed it.
I mean, even them knowing, look, The Village just came out, mixed reviews, The Happening, mixed reviews.
He was not the director.
M. Night would be perfect for this.
He was not the director to pick.
Did they have like a dartboard and they just
this
said,
is the thing.
these are the three available?
He said that he's never watched the show before. And like he took it because his daughter was happy that he took it because she watched the show and she had to show it to him. And I'm just like,
he knew it was a bag though. He's like, that's the budget. I'm
100%.
I'm in.
And that's what was so sad.
He's never had a budget like that ever. He's never had a budget that big. That's dangerous. You were giving this man gasoline and pouring it on a fire.
Since we're on the topic of budget,
it was horrible.
The budget for this film was $150 million.
Wow. That's a blockbuster. That's a blockbuster.
Domestic,
that's just a
it made $151 million. $131 million.
Oh, jeez.
But worldwide, $319 million.
Yeah, because of
it should have made more.
Yeah, it should have
been
made
way more. It could have been
so much money.
It made $1 billion.
From up until now, if it was done right, it would have been $1 billion film.
Absolutely. And we would have gotten 3 more by this time.
Yes. And it would have been a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But guess what?
But they threw it away.
They threw it out the window.
And to this day, not only do I blame M. Night, I do blame the creators. Like I do blame the creators, and they have to live with that. And it was just such.
We have to live with that.
It was probably the worst movie experience I've ever had in my life.
Yeah,
and it sticks with me to this day. It's very vivid.
I remember when the Avatar
sucks.
movie, the James, what is it?
James Cameron? Yeah.
When that came out, I was like, oh, they're doing it again. Oh no, that's not. That's not that. That's not.
And then James Cameron was like, "I've been working on this film for 20 years."
Yeah, and that's why they had to change it to The Last Airbender because they couldn't get the license for Avatar because James Cameron was already working on it.
You son of a bitch! But but it's cool. You know what?
It was horrible.
That is
M. Night never do that again. I don't know why I'm saying it.
Just stop directing
because it already happened. But just never. If you ever hear this, do that.
He learned from his mistakes. He knew never to sell out again. After that, it was a little bit up from there. After Earth obviously wasn't great, but it wasn't.
He said it went a little bit up. After
it was never up. The only reason why it was up is because he revisited what he did before, which was
actually The Village, not The Village, The Visit.
Well,
which is like
next was Wayward Pines. Don't even know what that is.
No. Don't highlight those. Those aren't important.
Okay, and then The Visits. The next film.
The Visit was a very low budget movie that surprisingly everybody loved, and that kind of got him back into the game. And then after The Visit, it was Split, which really launched him again. It was like, oh, damn, this is good. Like
he's back.
He's
back.
And then
again, I believe
with
the
James
reason
McAvoy.
Also, Devil was mixed in along there. So, it was helping him go back up from a very, very low, very, very low moment.
I'm sure the actors carried him to his success for that rise up in 2016.
James McAvoy wasn't that big when Split came out.
He was kind of at the...
he was Professor X.
Yeah, he was kind of at the top of his game.
Yeah, in 2016?
Yeah, he was.
When did that movie come out?
I mean, First Class, I think, was 2013, and then he had like 3 other movies after that. Yeah. So
James McAvoy was like, that was around like where he was one of the top like actors that were being talked about.
Well, that was a really good performance. And the thing about
he did do a good job.
The Split was also low budget, so they just did it in one location and was under the zoo, which was really cool. It's another one of those like confined movies. It's only going to be here, and the storytelling was great. Character development was insane.
It had Anya Taylor-Joy. Oh, she's so fine.
Because it had crazy personalities. So it's like you have characters without even having to get an extra actor.
Yeah.
Which was what made
James McAvoy really
popular.
made that movie and acted his ass off.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Movie. And then, I guess him, with the twist, bringing it back in Unbreakable, that was kind of risky. Like you're really going back to a movie that's really, really popular and you're tying it to this one. You don't even know if this one's going to be good. It's like...
I mean, but I think he just kind of read the room and was like, yo, we care about franchises now. We care about lore. We care about the history of things.
That's the thing that I loved about that whole M. Night trilogy, Unbreakable trilogy, is that he was kind of ahead of his time making comic book movies. Like with Unbreakable, he had superpowers, but it wasn't like superpowers like
a Marvel
DC,
movie or DC,
or
it's different
Watchmen,
type of superpower.
There's no cape, but there is a cape. The suit that Bruce Willis wears, the raincoat.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's his I guess his cape. And then he even color codes them. I think Mr. Glass or just Glass is purple. And then they have green for Unbreakable. But yeah, like he really just
like
makes them
for a Split.
I think it was yellow.
He creates like his own superhero universe within 3 movies and does a pretty decent job, I mean, obviously a little bit ahead of his time trying to create a superhero movie and it becoming popular and then finally turning into a trilogy. Yeah. Which eventually ended with Glass, which it isn't talked about a lot. It isn't amazing, but it is a good tie-off with the movie because it goes all the way back to Unbreakable, and then it pulls in Split. And then we got 3 great actors, We got James McAvoy, Samuel Jackson, and then Bruce Willis.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's awesome. I think it has to feel good to complete your story.
Yeah.
I think
I love the ending to Glass.
Yeah, and just like as a director, if you have like something that's supposed to be told over multiple films, like there's so many times where that just doesn't happen.
And he really went out of his element to even do sequels because he said himself he doesn't do those.
Well, see,
but he had to for that story.
And I don't understand why directors feel that way because like if you thought of the story and it's bigger than one movie, then of course you're going to do sequels. Like, why are you saying, "Oh, I don't want to do sequels"?
Nobody ever has room.
That just means you didn't think about what you're making. You know what I mean?
You didn't see the bigger picture from the start.
Exactly. Yeah.
Tarantino saw it from the start, though. Am I right? Because Kill Bill.
He has a whole universe. Yeah. I mean,
the whole ass universe.
That's one of the only other sequels that he does. Also, he doesn't have like a Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, he doesn't do sequels like that either, and that's probably why that they're close. Yeah. I mean, there's just those movie purists that are like, I'm going to do one movie and the movie needs to stand alone as a movie on its own and hold its own, balls.
There's a quote by Quentin Tarantino pretty much saying that Unbreakable is the best movie of our time. That's what Quentin
Tarantino's a fool.
That's what he said. I'm just quoting him.
Quentin Tarantino also...
When did he say that? What year?
I don't know, a long time ago. But I did see the video of him saying it. That's when he said, Shyamalan ding dong.
He said that right before Y2K. He thought he was going to die.
He was trolling. Quentin Tarantino was trolling.
No, they're homies.
Was it taken out of context?
They like each other.
Was the word after that LOL?
Nah. I mean, Unbreakable was good. I mean, what you talking about?
It is. I mean, I think the trilogy, I commend him for coming up with that. Like for not coming up with the concept, but to
bring comic books were already
the comic books were exactly. So,
but bringing
that into life, yes, I think he was a good director to do that. I do think that not every comic book should be brought in movie form the way that Marvel and DC have done it. There are variations. It's worth it. I love like how Hellboy has been done. I love, how Unbreakable, Watchmen, all that kind of stuff. So I think that there's room for that. And it takes a different type of director to bring certain properties to life. He should just never touch The Last Airbender ever. At the same time,
like you said, he didn't know anything about The Last Airbender. He was really out of his element, I think, in those two movies. With After Earth and Avatar: The Last Airbender. He really sold out. He's like, I need money. And then he found out, damn, when I have a budget, I'm trash.
At the expense.
When he doesn't have a budget, he really stretches the
I really
dollar.
need to get back to my roots with no money.
Which leads me and which leads us to his latest.
Got people dropping stuff all over in the studio.
What a twist.
Which leads us to...
I told you to be twist at the end of this podcast.
Yeah, which pretty much leads us to our latest movie, Old.
Yes.
His new movie.
His most recent.
Fresh
off of a pandemic.
I just want to say,
I just saw it.
Skywalker's upset at me.
We were supposed to watch this together.
I've been busy working on music and writing for people.
Sincere came to us and said, we have to watch Old. I didn't even question it. I was like, we have to. I did question it. I said, we have to. And then I was like, all right, we'll do it.
And then I just haven't had a chance to go to the movies. I'm sorry. But I'm going to go watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've heard mixed reviews, so I really want to give it my own.
You didn't watch it either?
I watched a synopsis of it.
Nurik just wants to watch synopsis. Synopsis.
Slacker. You're a slacker. Slacker. You're a slacker. Do you want to be a slacker?
How many slackers are there?
Slacker.
As many as there
just
needs
like your
to
father.
be.
Oh, man.
But the movie Old, I enjoyed it a little bit. There was the story was simple. What you see in the trailers is what you see in the movie. You think, okay, what could the twist be that everybody just gets old on this beach?
No, I mean,
there's going to be more to it.
Yeah, that there's something to it, either something supernatural or something.
And you want to guess, drug. I think, okay, maybe there's somebody holding them there. Maybe, there's ghosts. I don't know. And in the trailer, they kind of mislead you when it's like, oh, the kids can't go to the beach because they get old or anything. That's actually a joke in the movie.
Gotcha.
It's anybody who goes to the beach gets older, not just the kids. The kids obviously are rapidly growing.
Because there's like this acceleration thing that
it's
they're
like
doing.
A cell regeneration that it has to do with the minerals on the beach that washed up and all the rocks cause your cells to accelerate and move.
And they're
faster
trying to study
old.
people basically on how, if you have a disease or if you have an ailment or if you have something that's going on, it takes so long for science to study people who go through that.
I swear
this is like a sped up version of them being able to see it. So
pretty much that was the twist, but the way they got them there was very interesting. Because in the beginning of the movie, the husband is like, wow, how did you find this place? Because they were going to go to Cabo. And then she's like, I don't know. I just kind of stumbled upon it. And then it comes to later on, he asks her again, how did you find this spot? Because they're all trying to figure out why they're all on the beach and why they're stuck. And the wife is like, well, I was at the pharmacy and I was picking up my medication, and then there was on the receipt, they had the number. So pretty much they already had their medical records and knew everything. So that's how they got it. So there was nothing but sick people at the resort. And then the resort would tell people, oh, I know this beach that you can go to, beautiful, secluded. You're going to love it when you get down there.
I know this is probably going to be like a spoiler, but I remember in the trailer, one of the girls, she gets pregnant, the daughter.
Yes.
Yeah. So is it how does that happen? Is it, because I took it as they're kind of speeding up their future, or is it they're just bodies accelerating? So I was confused on that.
No, they hint at one of the kids when they grow up, they pretty much do it. And then she gets impregnated quick because of how.
But how is that? How does did she have an ailment that caused her to get pregnant, or is it just
no
because it just sped up? She just all of a sudden had sperm inside of her, or what?
No, they did it. They just didn't show it.
Oh, okay. So they went off. They ducked off, and
they were in a tent. I saw them eating, and then they panned away, and then they came back, and she was pregnant. And I figured, okay, they did it most likely.
That makes sense, I guess. But
they don't need to
like that.
They don't need to show it though.
No, yeah, I know that, but it
show it.
What's the whole? I'm assuming the only purpose of that would be for the cinematic, like, oh no, she's pregnant.
It was like, we want to show this. How do we show it?
Oh, we gonna
you
make
know
these,
what I mean? Like,
we're gonna turn these 8-year-olds into teenagers, and they gonna be fucking.
They pretty much showed. They showed all ages of life in the movie. They showed an old lady. You know, she was the first to die, obviously, because she was already closer to death. And then there was the baby. And then...
did the baby grow up?
No, because time was moving so fast, the baby couldn't handle it.
Did the baby get removed from
the baby got removed from the beach. The baby wasn't allowed to perform for the beach.
Baby was done afterwards. But
let's go.
But yeah, like, and the thing is, it's like, why don't you just leave the beach? You can't leave because... When you go through the canyon, no. When you go through the canyon to the way back you came, it's like being submerged underwater and trying to go up fast. The minerals and the atmosphere was different, and it was pressure. So when you would go through the canyon, you would black out, and then you would end up back on the beach because you would walk yourself there or crawl yourself there, and you would just wake up on the beach. You'd get halfway, black out, go back. Yeah. Even if you try to swim in the ocean and get out, it'd be the same thing. And then you just black out in the water. So there was 2 people that drowned. So, you know, it was
how were you able to even get onto the beach? Like, it wasn't that way on going
in, there's no resistance. Going back is all the resistance.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it was difficult to leave, you know. In the end, spoiler alert, 2 people do make it off the beach because there is a way off the beach, which is one of the other twists. And the way they find out is through like a little message a kid gave them before they even went to the beach. And it's cool. The way the storytelling is really done well. There's a lot of those shots where I say like Spielberg, like off camera, like you hear people talking, but they're panned over here to the left, and you hear people talking to the right. And it doesn't pan fast. It doesn't go like when somebody yells, they don't pan fast. They go slowly, and then you finally see it come into frame, and you see it happen. I'm like, damn, that is done. That is shot so beautifully. And there's not really any green screen. Like where they filmed it, that's how it actually looked. Like the rocks.
So were they on the beach majority of the time?
It was, yes.
Well, it was filmed during quarantine,
right?
Right?
It was filmed during the pandemic, so they all stayed on the beach for pretty much about a month. And, you know, they hung out. They were pretty much in a bubble, you know. M. Night was there. They would cook for each other, tell each other stories.
Cool.
Kind of talk about the movie and, you know, all the ideologies that the movie brings.
It was probably fun to film.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. The movie itself, it looked beautiful. The acting was...
Because there was a bunch of no-name actors.
Yeah.
That Alex Wolff, the kid from the Naked Brothers band.
Below
the one
par.
in Hereditary.
Below par movie, you know, like acting wise. Story wise, it was really good. I really liked the story. I really love the idea. You know, it was accelerated age. It's funny because one of the villains is M. Night. And that's the thing I love about M. Night. He always shows up in his own movies. You know, whether it's a small role, whether it's a big role.
That's kind of what people don't like about M. Night is because it's like, bruh, it's not even about you. Why are you in here?
But why do people hate M. Night but they don't hate Quentin?
Because Quentin Tarantino has like an element to him that like it's almost like he's funny and honestly he shouldn't have been in Django. I'll tell you that. Like there was no reason for him to be in Django.
That's what I was thinking of right now.
Yeah, but he was great in Pulp Fiction. It's just being the guy. I was
watching a video on YouTube by the Ministry of Cinema. Shout out to them. Really cool videos. They break down a lot of people and stuff. But they were talking about how people hate M. Night because like, oh, you have such a big ego, like everything for you is about yourself. But I mean, that's what makes a director, you know? Like without that, you're not gonna know their name. They're literally telling you, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest. Obviously, you're not gonna agree with that, but you can't really hate him on that, you know? Like it's like Michael Jordan, like I'm the greatest, I'm gonna prove it, you know, as best as I could.
But he's not.
Obviously,
like
he's
Barkley.
not. Yeah, obviously he's not like
Go home.
I'm not sure if he has Oscars. I didn't check that.
I mean, if he did, it'd probably be like first 3, or something like that.
I don't think the Sixth Sense.
I'm pretty sure Split got some awards.
I think so.
But either
I think
way,
so. We'll double check that. But overall, Old was a really interesting watch. You know, I was watching it with my girlfriend, and we were both like curious. We kept looking at each other like, what's going on?
happening?
Like,
I feel like I would do that during the movie as well.
and it was at points the movie was very unsettling. You know, like not cringeworthy, but like there was actually just like unsettling moments. Like they try to, one of the women had a tumor, and the tumor was growing fast because of how fast everything was going, and they had to cut the tumor out, and it just looked. I was
Gross.
like just my react. My girlfriend like looked at me. She's like, I was just looking at how like you were reacting and stuff like, and then. Even there's a part where this girl breaks all her bones because she has a calcium deficiency. And that part, like, I was like, oh my God, I didn't even need to see that. There's another part where some guy gets poisoned by rust and his body, like, there's a lot of unsettling moments, more than I've ever seen in an M. Night movie, which was really surprising. It was legit a rated R movie with some gore and violence.
Just the graphicness of what they were showing.
I feel like he's kind of taking a risk with that too, because he's never done anything like graphic like that, you know. And The Sixth Sense is like, you know, like it's not like I guess they kind of did show a little bit, but
it wasn't.
But it was nothing crazy, you know. Like
it was still for the
old.
times, you know,
right?
Like so, that makes sense. What would you rate? What would you rate Old?
Probably like a 6 or 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as great as, you know, Unbreakable, Sixth Sense, or the trilogy Split. You know, all those movies are cool and are highly acclaimed. And this one is around. I'd say I put it above Devil and above The Happening and all that. So it's right there, right in the middle. I think, you know, I do think this movie will be good for him. You know, in a sense. I feel like he's getting to a point where he can recognize what he's good at, and he's just going to go to it. And not only that, we're getting a second generation Shyamalan in directing. His daughter actually helped him on the movie herself.
Just what we need, a second Shyamalan.
Airbender part 2.
No, stay away.
And it's really cool because he does a show as well, and she helps him a lot. And the show is really a fun and... you know, it's like M. Night, but show version. There's 2 seasons, so there's a lot of dialogue.
Would you call him M. Night Shyamalan?
Oh, gosh.
Look, y'all, I'm going to be here all week.
What are we doing?
It's your boy. Boo. Hey, I just want to say JM Cam's in the back with his thumbs down, and it's opposite day.
So,
that was a good joke.
That show is really cool. It's on Apple TV, so if you don't have Apple TV, obviously, it's going to be hard to watch. But if you do have it or you want to get a free trial... Not sponsored, but that show is pretty cool.
Okay.
You know, it's really cool. And, you know, M. Night, he's been doing his thing. He's up there, kind of. I like him. I like the twist. Like I said, like people want something new, and then when they get it, they don't want it. This is why we don't get nice things no more.
There's
like,
a difference.
Like think about it, The Last Airbender.
It was trash.
That's not his original. He's not going to do it good. He wants to make it an original because...
But he needs to not.
But that's what I'm saying. He doesn't need to touch things that are already franchises. He needs to keep creating his own. And I feel like that's the perfect lane for him, you know? And maybe, you know, get a little bit off your high horse. But, I mean, he's already been there and done that. So I feel like he knows what he's capable of. And, yeah. But other than that, you know, he's a cool guy. We'll probably get some more movies from him in the future.
Yeah.
And do we give our directors ratings or grades?
So I don't want to say a rating, but I would say
a grade. We should do grades.
I would say let's pick our favorite.
I give him a C
film.
plus.
Favorite film? All right.
I'll give him a C
film
plus.
and why we love that
I like
film.
the grades.
Yeah.
I'll give him a C plus.
C
I'll
plus?
give him a B minus.
I'll give him a C. It's like right in the middle.
Right.
Not plus, not
right.
C.
That's good enough passing grade.
Like we'll see if he's gonna piss me off again. Stuart Little, I just want to say that.
Oh, he did screenwrite for that.
He screenwrote for Stuart Little.
Yeah.
And Stuart Little had Gina Davis, had Dr. House. They had Marty McFly. He was Stuart Little.
And it had Stuart himself. Little.
I'm not mad at
Damn
that.
it.
I'm not mad at that.
But
okay,
Stuart was in
I'm
fact a
done
little-
with you guys.
But yeah,
What a twist.
cool guy. Yeah, what a twist ending, right? Stuart Little, ooh.
Ooh.
Who saw that coming? I
He's a
did
skateboarding mouse. He flew a plane.
Jeez.
All righty, guys.
And
I think
drove a
we're gonna end it there. Before we end off, my favorite, like you said, Sin, probably Unbreakable or The Sixth Sense.
Narik.
There isn't any.
I was expecting.
I'll choose
that. I was
for
like,
him, The
Avatar.
Last Airbender.
No,
Just kidding.
he's trash.
With that being said, guys, it has been another Sound Flick podcast, episode 54.
Yeah. Oh,
Another director
Yeah.
highlight episode.
yeah, if you guys have any directors or actors you want us to touch on, let us know. I love just diving into their
It's always
history.
interesting.
You know, I didn't know what we were gonna get from this episode because I know he's like hit or miss. You know, it's 50-50 with M. Night. So yeah, it was still pretty good. I like learning about him.
Controversial.
I just want to say as
Gets
well.
the people going.
Look forward. Oh God. Look forward to let's start highlighting some artists soon, guys.
Yeah.
That's something we need
Some
to
artists? For
like-
what? Just
I'm
kidding.
dead.
I'm kidding.
As we're artists.
We are Sound Flick.
All righty.
We
We
have
are the
to.
Sound Flick pod.
We'll adhere to the sound of it.
Just sometimes.
I guess.
Yeah.
All right,
But
guys.
that being said, if you guys like the way we sound and you guys are like, wow, how do we start our own podcast? Hit up our friends at Productive Culture.
Yes,
So
sir.
go to productiveculture.com/podcast.
You're-
Tell them that the Sound Flick boys sent you,
That's right.
and then they're going to hook you up.
Yes.
That being
Yes,
said,
I
it
will.
is your boy, A Sincere, Skywalker Mike, and Narik Thascool signing off. See y'all
Mhm.
soon.
Peace.
Wait, here's the twist. Just kidding. There's nothing here. Peace out.